Energy affordability. The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission's plan to offer Hoosiers some help.
An alleged mafia hit in an Indiana prison and the injuries to the inmate.
Sunshine today, temperatures warming up, warmer air ahead, more sunshine as well, and some snowflakes in a very busy 7-day forecast.
Plus, it's kickoff for the NFL Combine, and you can be a part of it. We'll take a look at the fun for families in downtown Indy.
Good afternoon, I'm Felicia Lawrence.
And I'm Jenny Runovich in today for Dustin. And we start today with the rising cost of energy bills. They're really hitting Hoosiers hard all across the state.
The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission plans to address the concern in the next few weeks. 13 News' Ella Rhodes shares how.
The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission says they're launching an investigation into energy use affordability. It's something Indiana lawmakers say is a bipartisan issue.
IURC Chairman Andy Zay wants Hoosiers to know he hears their concerns when it comes to expensive energy bills.
We want our ratepayers' costs to be as little as possible, but we also want our utilities to be successful. So when we turn the switch, the lights come on. That balance feels dramatically out of whack right now for many, many Hoosiers.
In March, AES, CenterPoint Energy, Duke Energy, Indiana Michigan Power Company, and Northern Indiana Public Service will go in front of the commission. The energy providers will explain how usage translates to costs.
And about letting them know that we're listening. And again, it took us a moment to get to this point, but to that point, we want to let Hoosiers know that we're listening and beginning a process that we can hopefully bring some resolution.
Zay says during the inquiry, he hopes they can find a metric for affordability, since it looks different for every Hoosier.
Sometimes my constituents feel like the utilities have them over a barrel, and it's about time that we took a deep dive, take a look into how did we get here? How do we get out of here?
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say they look forward to the investigative inquiry.
This is something tangible, and this is something strategic, and this is something being done in a bipartisan way that really gets to the meat of the issue.
The inquiry is scheduled for March 24th. In Indianapolis, Ella Rhodes, 13 News.
And an investigation is underway into a homicide in Marion, Grant County. Today, just before 6 a.m., deputies responded to a reporting of a shooting at a home near North 700 East and State Road 18. Once deputies arrived, they found a male victim inside. He died at the scene. A woman who was also inside the house was taken into custody.
Well, an inmate stabbed in the eye at an Indiana prison. This was in an attack by two other inmates.
Rich Nye is actually looking into the court documents that say this was a hit by the American Irish Mafia. All words we don't use every day.
Right, this is like something out of a movie or something. As I've been investigating this today. This attack happened at the Newcastle Correctional Facility way back in December, but the charges were just filed this month. These two men, Toby Garrison and Daniel Jones, are accused of assaulting another inmate on December 9th. Court records say Garrison used two metal wall plates tied together, and Jones used an 11-inch homemade weapon described as an ice pick. The two men admit in the Department of Correction report that Garrison eventually put the victim in a chokehold while Jones stabbed him in the eye.
Testimony from both of them when they gave their statement and some little other evidence that this was some type of retaliation from internal gangs within the prison system. I don't make much of that other than we did add a gang enhancement to that. So there's an extra charge that this was a gang related crime. And then we added on also a gang enhancement.
Both men said that the victim owed money to the mafia. Both men are charged with attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and criminal organization activity. Garrison murdered his cellmate at the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility in June of 2023, choking him to death. And Jones is in prison for two murders back in 2018 in Madison County.
Okay, this does sound like it's right out of a movie. How is the victim doing?
So this happened back in December, and I'm told that the victim has actually made a remarkable recovery.
Wow.
Now, he was a prison inmate, and he's back in prison serving his time.
Okay.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Scary situation.
Thank you, Rich, for being on top of it. I know some of those details are a bit tough to hear.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, Rich. Well, today, a confrontation off the coast of Cuba, and now 4 people are dead and 6 others injured. Cuban officials say people on board a speedboat registered out of Florida opened fire after Cuban border guard troops asked them for identification. That's when the troops returned fire, killing 4 people and injuring 6 others. Now, this is all according to Cuba. Right now, we don't have an account of what happened from the U.S. Of course, we'll let you know once we learn more.
Alrighty, friends, it's Wednesday and we are seeing loads of sunshine and some higher temperatures that we can certainly feel.
Oh, for sure. Except I'm looking at the bottom, the words at the bottom of your screen.
What are those words there,
What
Sean?
are the lights? No. Oh, man.
What are those words there?
Yeah, this, you know, Felicia and I talked at noontime. This is kind of a frustrating time of year.
Yeah.
Because you have a day like this and you get a little bit cooler tonight. And then we've got some ups and downs in the 7-day forecast. So,
Okay.
take the good with the bad, friends. Okay? All right, take the good with the bad
Facts
here.
of life.
And the sunshine will give way to increasing clouds here this evening, but they'll be harmless until around midnight. We'll talk about that light snow chance, but just get out and enjoy this beautiful afternoon and evening. Most of us near and just a few degrees above 50 degrees. Beautiful shot here at the golf course there at the Country Club of Indy. We're at 51, west wind at around 20, so it's a little brisk. Temperatures, however, 15 to almost 20 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. Now, I mentioned we've been pretty sunny most of the day. You can start to see some of this cloud cover coming in from the west. Want to expand the map, and then I want to go upstream here. As we talked about, there's a little weather disturbance. It's got a couple of things working against it. We've got some warmer temperatures, obviously. The air's dry, and it's just not very strong. However, it bears watching because it will come in before the morning rush hour. It should be done by 7 or 8 o'clock. However, between midnight and 5 or 6 a.m., a little narrow area of light snow is possible. We can't rule out some slick spots. Recommend you get up early tomorrow morning. Check in with Matt and Lindsay on sunrise beginning at 4 a.m. for this right here. Again, little narrow area, may be enough to dust up the ground in some locations. It's a quick mover. It's long gone by the middle part of tomorrow, and we're back to sunshine. The warmest air is yet to come. I'll have more on that ahead in the 7-day forecast.
Best thing you said all day, Sean.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's awesome. All right, on to another exciting topic here. It is day 2 of the NFL Combine here in Indy, and we're starting to hear from some players as they gear up for an on-field action later in the week.
Yeah, Dominic Miranda is downtown with that action and what we can all look forward to.
Hey, we're back here in downtown Indianapolis, the Indiana Convention Center, the site for day 2 and all the days of the NFL Combine as players get ready for the biggest job interview of their lives, right? You can see some players still hitting the podium right now, linebackers, defensive players here on Wednesday. That will continue throughout the week. We'll hear from every single position group, some of the guys that you've heard of in college football trying to improve their draft stock. And, you know, these NFL teams are analyzing everything. That includes what these guys are saying at the podium, the way they conduct themselves off the field, just as much as what they do on field for drills, skills, everything like that. Every little thing about a player is being hyper-analyzed by NFL GMs, NFL coaches, NFL scouts. It's a really important week for these guys who want to continue to pursue their dreams of playing in the National Football League. I'll tell you who's really well represented here in Indianapolis. That would be the Indiana Hoosiers, national champion Indiana Hoosiers. 9 players, a program record, invited to this year's Combine. Get this, the most players ever drafted in one single year for the Hoosiers, 7. That was back in 1976, but post-1994, 3 is the max in any single year of the NFL draft. They're looking to far surpass that and maybe even break a record for the amount of players drafted in this upcoming 2026 NFL draft. Coming up for you at 5 and 6, you'll hear from the heartbeat of this Indiana defense. That would be Aiden Fisher. Really good stuff from him, as always, as he looks to get drafted in the NFL draft coming up here in April. And much more for you, so stay tuned right here on Channel 13. Here at the Convention Center for the NFL Combine, I'm Dominic Miranda, 13 Sports.
So here at the NFL Combine, if you want to take part in all of the fun activities outside, you can start at 1 p.m. on Thursday, taking a look at all of these different helmets, finding your favorite NFL team, and seeing if you can get that perfect photo opportunity. Now let's kind of walk through here a little bit just to kind of get the lay of the land. So we're right outside of Lucas Oil Stadium. You can access this from right outside here. You've got the 40-yard dash over there, different drills, basically giving you the feel like you're actually one of those players that's trying to make an NFL roster inside. And several Hoosiers who just won the national championship will actually be in there doing those drills, trying to get that NFL roster spot. You can also take a picture with the Heisman Trophy won by Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza and the Lombardi Trophy for the Super Bowl champions.
Still ahead this afternoon, an important conversation for all of us as we end American Heart Month. A cardiologist joining us in studio after the break with how to stay healthy. Sean?
Okay, we've got a lot going on in our 7-day forecast. It includes 60s and some snowflakes. All ahead. Stay with us.